Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Cody here with the Adventure Trac. Today I'm going to be doing a walk around. I think this is the most requested video that I've had. People ask about this all the time on Instagram. I put something up on the blog talking about it, but who doesn't love video format? I mean, a lot of people don't really like to read or just look at pictures, so here we are doing the actual video. Getting right into it, this is a 2004 Ford Explorer Sport Trac XLS in four-wheel drive. I picked this truck up just because at the time I needed something that had four-wheel drive but was cheap. It was going to be a second vehicle for me, not my daily driver. I wanted it just to go camping, take the dogs out, move the dirt bikes around, and it was perfect for that. But as you can see, it's not in its stock form anymore. So let's dive right into what I've actually done to it. Up front here, this is a Black Horse Customs or Dark Horse Customs. I can't quite remember. I got it from Amazon. This brush guard here has been okay. I've done some modifications to it and threw on some lights. The original light mounts were a little more inboard, so I did move these out. As well as this wasn't very stable, so underneath here, I'll move over here, I put some angle iron here that's ran through the plastic bumper to the actual steel under bumper, and that really helped stabilize the whole thing from moving around, as well as the actual mounts down below that are built into the frame, or that go to the frame, excuse me. I did a little extra fabrication down there, as well as mounted some tow hooks, so I had to drill some holes for these and put them on there because there was no recovery points on here. All that extra beef on here, I've been winched out of mud, I've been snatch recovered, I've done snatch recoveries, snow, rocks, mud, everything, and it hasn't gone anywhere, it hasn't moved. If you are a fan, you probably know that I have a secondary battery mounted under there that runs all my auxiliary lights as well as my CB radio. I can't really say too much about the way I mounted that. I really don't want to give that away because I think there's better options out there. You guys, I'm sure, could find some better way to do that, but if you are familiar with this truck, you know there's just a limited space here in the engine bay, so that's why I opted to put it down there. It is a sealed battery, so I'm not worried about water intrusion, but you just got to be aware of what you do with your electrical systems. And I think that's going to be it for the front, other than these nightlight LED lights. I'll link all this stuff down in the description. These lights have been great. They're not ultra bright, they're get what you pay for, but they have had ice built up on the front, they've been through water, they've been through just about every type of extreme weather condition, and surprisingly, they still work. These are the floodlights, not the spotlights. They do a great job at producing a lot of light. We're gonna move to the side of the truck. All right guys, coming around the side here, we're gonna talk about this CB setup. This isn't anything crazy. This is just a 4-foot fiberglass antenna on a flex mount, and I picked all this up locally at Napa Auto Parts. Nothing fancy there. Haven't had any issues with it. Got an Overland bound medallion or sticker thing, and I've had that for a while. That's nothing special. As far as the lift and wheels, tires, suspension, all that stuff, these are 0-degree offset wheels, they're 16-inch, and this is a all-terrain tire. It's 265 75 16. I'm sorry about that. And let's see, underneath, all I've done is a 2-inch torsion twist and Rancho shocks all the way around. Nothing crazy expensive, nothing insane. This is kind of the cheap truck challenge. Moving on up, this light bar I get asked about all the time. The light bar itself I got as a present, and 3 of the center LEDs are kind of going out on it. I'm not going to link this because I'm not going to recommend it. These light bar mounts here, I actually custom fabricated those. There's no link for that. I'm sorry, guys. I do have a link to show you how I made them, but outside of that, you're not going to find these locally anywhere. I'm going to come down here and talk quickly about what I've done with the plastic and everything, as well as these rock sliders. So for those of you guys that are familiar with these trucks, yes, I cut off all that plastic. You can see here, this is just the remaining plastic. I put an extra screw back in here to keep that piece, that trim piece, kind of tucked up nice. This is all bed liner along the bottom of the rocker panel. And I did the same thing back here. I cut this trim piece because I wanted to keep mud and things from flying past here and hitting the actual cab of the truck and or going anywhere it's not supposed to. All the trim pieces are bed linered. And then these rock sliders here, I got most of the gear from Trail Gear, which I picked up off Amazon. I haven't had any issues. They're welded straight to the frame. So far, so good. Not going to say too much about that. I had to custom fabricate everything as per the usual with this truck because no one makes anything for it. All right, so up top, I had to custom fabricate this rack. It is steel and it is actually bolted straight into these OEM roof bars I drilled through, and usually I just put the Maxa Escaper Buddies up here and maybe something else light. This is probably as heavy as I'm gonna go, and it's been up here for a long time and it has not gone anywhere. This is angle iron that's sitting in here, so it doesn't have the ability to slide back and forth, as well as these are bolted straight in the same way. I just drilled these through and I haven't had any issues with it, so I guess that's all I can say about that. If you're wondering why the tent looks deflated, it's because the mattress isn't in there. No, the tent's not broken. I know it looks weird. All right, let's hop down and talk about something else. This right here has to be everyone's favorite thing on the internet, or even when I get approached in parking lots. This bed rack right here, if you guys are familiar, this is version 3 of what I tried to do, and I gotta say, it's been great. The original rack idea I had was to take a Ford Ranger rack, like a ladder rack, and make it sit on the bed, and that was without the tonneau cover. I did that, and then I just ended up not liking it, so I sold it to somebody else. It was great, but it was extremely heavy, and it just wasn't what I had in mind. So in between that rack and this rack, I actually picked up this tonneau cover from another Sport Trac owner. I rode around without anything up here for a while, and I had the tent mounted on the OEM roof bars over there. But after a while, I thought, well, it'd be nice to have a way to carry extra equipment. So I actually built this bar forward. So I had this section of angle iron here bolted into these OEM bed mounts, and all I did for this, guys, was these are the caps that come on the OEM bed mounts where they're meant to be tie downs. I just removed the tie down part and changed these bolts. I wish I would have known at the time that these bolts were going to rust, and that's what's been holding it in. They've been great. So if you're thinking about doing this, yes, these will hold it. So like I said, I made a half rack, so from here back wasn't there yet. And the reason that I did that was to be able to open the tonneau cover to have this stand up vertically so I could access things in the bed and use the bed the way I thought I would use it. But after a summer of camping and not actually opening the tonneau cover and realizing that it was better down because it was a more usable table that way, and that with the bed lengths being so short, I could actually reach all the things that were in the back. So I decided to add the rest of this rack, move the tent from there to here, and then build that rack afterwards. And this has just been awesome. This is all steel, and like I said, this base is angle iron. If you're gonna do this, the bed is curved, so make sure that from here back, if you're gonna do one length of angle iron, cut this section right here so it'll bend, and then re-weld a stitch seam in here, or whatever it's called. I'm not a fabricator, obviously. Just a backyard dude who doesn't know what he's doing. Just make sure you re-weld that so it looks nice, grind it down, do all that. If you've seen other pictures, and maybe I'll put a picture here in the video for reference, we put storage boxes right here, and I drilled holes here for ratchet straps to mount in here. That way we can hold the storage box. Once more, these are LED lights from Nylite, and same thing as those front ones. They've been bulletproof. Oh my God, guys. I was filming and look at this. What are you doing? Are you stuck? Did you get the stick? Oh boy. All right. I'm gonna have to fix that here in a second. Yeah, the lights have been great. Are there better brands? Sure. Moving on. All right, now that we're on the back, two things I want to talk about real quick. Here with the lights, up there, that third brake light is an LED, and I will link that. Got it from Amazon, as well as I've replaced these, and they've been great. I haven't had any issues with them for the last year or so. LEDs are awesome, especially when you need to see because you're trying to back up in a dark campground. We're gonna jump inside the bed real quick. All right, so in there, I made a little double T bracket. So it has 4 quick fists on it that hold these in. So it's just a ladder, or a ladder. It is an axe and a shovel. And I haven't had any issues with that. That's great because it bolts right into the OEM holes that are there. I'm not sure what those holes were designed for, but I haven't had any issues with it as far as weight or flex or anything. And this is awesome because they're just out of the way. They don't rattle, they don't move, they don't bother anybody. I just leave them in there because they're protected from the weather and the sun. So if you guys are thinking about, hey, we're gonna put these tools, that is a fantastic spot. Moving along. Guys, we're gonna move to the interior of the truck. This side, I'm really not gonna show you too much. I'll have you guys walk around. But I did want to point out, this is my switch panel that runs all that stuff from that auxiliary battery. So right here, you can hear it engaging the isolator that's under there. I will link to how I built this system because I got it from, I believe it's Expedition Portal. Don't quote me on that. But some smart person out there that's way smarter than me drew up how to do this. So I just followed what they did. The rest of these switches are the light bar, the 2 front lights, and then the rack lights, as well as 2 USB ports here, and then my voltmeter so I can see what's going on with my battery and how much I'm running down. If you're wondering why I did a dual battery system, it's so I could run all these lights in camp without the truck running and not kill my starting battery. But that's about it for the inside or the interior of the truck. From here, walk around for me. All right, I know they're not going to be in this shot, so I'm just going to talk about them real quick. These, if you saw them in the other shot that are on the visors, these pouches up here, they're from Blue Ridge Overland gear. Go to blueridgeoverlandgear.com if you're interested in getting some storage up there on your visors. Those have been great. I just put maps and all kinds of stuff in there, and they're awesome for holding sunglasses if you saw in that last shot. Sorry I didn't mention them there, but I could put a link also for those. In the center here, now that we're looking at things that you can see, yes, I have a bazillion cables. So like I said, I have 2 USB ports over there for charging stuff. This is a turbocharger for our cell phones. And then this is a cable for the radio, the aux cable, and then the microphone for the CB so I can talk and or put it on PA and address something in front of me. Magnetic mounts for the phones and iPods and tablets and whatever else. This little cable manager, I have some more right here, so if I'm running something USB charging out of this port over here, like the GoPro batteries or anything else, I can just run that cable away from my legs, kind of manage them. You can pick up these little rubber cable manager stickies just about at any store. they're great, especially when you have chaos like this. And this isn't even, you know, to think about cable management. If you're cheap like me and you don't have Bluetooth everything or whatever, cable management is a must when you're on the road and you're charging everything, especially when somebody is going to school and some of our classes are online. So in here it says Blue Ridge Overland gear, but that's not what it actually is. It's just a power inverter that I keep in the truck for charging laptops and things like that, because we do so much traveling with electronic equipment. Up here, as far as what was OEM and what's not, the OEM radio actually took up that whole space. So I took that radio out, put this cheapo radio from Amazon in here. Not going to link that because I do not recommend it. It was 20 bucks and it's no. This is a Midland and it's one of their cheaper models. I didn't really want a CB to broadcast as far as I can or anything. CB is not known for its range anyway. And primarily what I use it for is when I'm traveling for work or traveling just in general. I turn it on and I can hear what's going on ahead of me on the road with the truckers and stuff. They'll talk about where the accidents are, where road obstructions are, anything like that, anything that's going on. Moving on down here, if you have this center console with the bag in your truck, then you know about this little gap that was here with that little plastic cover that was down there. I couldn't handle it. I got rid of it. So what I did is I pulled this center console out and I built this box. This is actually mostly wood, and then I just upholstered it with some stuff that I picked up locally from Home Depot or Lowe's, I can't remember. And I've just made a big storage area out of it because there was nothing here. It was just a gap, and that was not working out for me, like I said. So guys, get creative with your stuff and you'll have a much better time. It's not rocket science to just build a little box like this. As far as it being held in, it is held in by the center console, so the plank of wood comes back far enough where this is sitting on top of it and it's holding it down, so that's not going to go anywhere. If you have the bag in your truck, or if you've replaced it with the other center console or whatever you've done in the middle, what I did was I took that bag out because it doesn't allow any storage space and it's not very creative thinking on Ford to do that. But I took some sheet metal here, upholstered it, and just screwed it right on. That way, this is just one big center console instead of that weird little bag that I don't know what they were trying to do with that. But this has been much better. I got lucky with this center console armrest. If you guys have one of these trucks, you know these things are notorious for breaking. They always break. I found this at a junkyard, and it is a piece of wood. I think it's a 2x6 that somebody carved out the middle back here for that plastic lump, and then they put hinges on it and upholstered it. And I just took it out of the junkyard, washed it, and put it in here. And I cannot complain. So if you guys are thinking, how in the heck do you still have an armrest here? That's how. I believe that's it for up here. If I forgot to mention something, just comment. Let's move to the back. All right, guys, moving along to the back here. If you guys have been a fan or have been watching for a while, you guys know all about this platform. But for those of you that are first timers here, I'm going to start top to bottom and talk a lot about this mostly. But starting up top here, this is a net that I just picked up from a local store. It's nothing fancy. It wasn't meant for this. I just put it up here, and these are screwed right into the trim. If you realize by now, I didn't plan on selling this truck. So resale value, things like this, or welding stuff to the frame, this is mine, and I don't care what anybody else wants. So if you're like me, you can do this. If not, and you are thinking about resale, then don't ruin trim pieces and or weld stuff to the frame. But I like this net. It's good for throwing up, or throwing hats. Not good for throwing up, don't throw it up. Good for throwing hats, coats, gloves, things like that up there that you need throughout the day. Just lighter stuff. I don't put anything heavy up there. And then coming down here, this is my favorite thing that I've done inside the truck. I talk about it all the time because we always travel with dogs. The seats that came OEM back here, they were great. They folded down nice and flat and everything, but if I was traveling with the dogs, it just meant there was no storage availability back here. So I had to do something, and this was the answer. So this is just a dog seat cover, and I use it to hang here to keep the dogs from getting anything that's back there, and or just having the availability to keep all the sand and dirt from going that direction. Under here, this is padded with 2 layers of sleeping mat that I picked up from Walmart. I used some 3M adhesive spray to keep everything together. And then, like I said, this dog seat cover is upholstering it, and it is stapled on as well as the 3M adhesive spray. And this has been great. It's seen a little bit of use and abuse. Not only dogs go back here, sometimes tools and large heavy stuff goes back here. I think that actually ripped when I was putting a piece of furniture in here. But this has been great. Like I said, back here, I use this for storage when I'm trying to hide things on the trail, and or getting back in here. If you didn't know about those storage boxes, these trucks came with a pass-through storage area back there, as well as, I like this, I can put their bowls in here, or their doggy seat belt, their dog food lid covers for canned dog food, the dog water bottle, which is just Nalgene, fits in there. This also flips up, so let's do that, because there's storage underneath, which is one of my favorite things. Like I was saying, I got rid of the seats for that reason. These legs also fold it down like that, so when you're in here, you're trying to do stuff, you don't bonk your head. This is a piece of plywood that I painted tan just to match the interior, nothing fancy. And this is a 2x2 as well as a 2x4, kind of creating a support structure. With all these legs on here and everything, I can crawl on here and it doesn't creak, it doesn't bother with the weight. So it's plenty strong for myself or the dogs. It's attached with these OEM hinges. These were part of the original seats, and they were just, I mean, this is just the perfect spot. They were the right height. They were sturdy enough to where I felt like they could hold this thing and keep it from moving around in here. And I've been using this same system, flipping it up and down for a long time, and not really had any issues with it. It's been strong enough. And when I flip it up, there's a little shelf under there that's just behind these, and the weight of this is actually sitting on that shelf, so it's not just those hinges holding it up, which is nice. Under here, I keep all kinds of stuff. When we travel, our clothes and things usually go in here, but I have a very overbuilt first aid kit right here that's always in the truck. I love having first aid supplies because you never know when something's gonna happen when you're out hiking or doing something. If you guys want to see a video about that, comment below. If I get enough comments about that bag, then I'll make a video about it. Other than that, I leave some stuff in here. These are the tent poles, they're always in here. I have a bag here that's recovery equipment. It's just a cheapo gym bag, but it's got shackles and toe straps and a short strap that's meant to go through the wheel, so you could pick up just the wheel, or you could run it through a rock slider or around a tow hook or anything like that and use your high lift jack. It's just it's a great little piece of gear. It's got 2 hooks on the end of it. That's nice. There's a tree saver in there, all that good stuff. Down here I have some Go Treads, and these fold out. They're traction recovery boards. I'll link these in below, and or link to my other video that talks about this type of stuff. Some of that stuff I just leave in here. Over there I have a small air compressor. It's a 12 volt. Here you can see that I have these seat back organizers and this little net. This net's just to keep the dog from jumping up front. That doesn't work. She gets up there and her muddy paws get everywhere, but I tried. Also, it's an organizer, so it's got 3 little pouches here. You can throw things in there just like that and leave it there. That works out pretty well on long trips when we have all kinds of stuff going on back here. I'm not going to link to these organizers. You can see I have 2 different ones here, and they're not faring that well. Not excited, but they do help with keeping extra dog supplies in here. These are extra potty bags and other dog items that are in there, like collars and D-rings to connect ropes together. You guys saw earlier in the video, I have her on a rope right now. That way she can run and play and not pay attention to the boring stuff that I'm doing. I think that about sums it up back here. Like I said, this plywood here, I think that's it for back here. I don't see anything that I didn't talk about. If there's something back here I missed, something up there I missed, something that I missed around the whole truck in general, and you guys are like, how in the heck did you just not mention that at all? Then please let me know. But I guess I'll meet you around the front of the truck and we'll wrap this up. I hope you enjoyed the video. I really do want to put out more videos, but just life right now with Katrin going to school and me working a lot, don't know if I can promise more videos or anything coming out. I know some people really like seeing the truck and seeing what we're out doing all the time, so I'll try to push out videos. Thank you guys once more for watching, and bear with me about that because I just had some teeth removed. So if you're wondering why the heck is he going every other syllable, it's because I just had some teeth removed. I'm getting braces in October. Super excited about that. That is why I'm lisping so much in the video. If you are still here for whatever reason, thank you again. I don't know why you're here at the end of the video, but if you've made it this far, you must like what I've done. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Give me a like, comment, share, do all those fun things, and I'll see you next time.